bubble bath? What do you think?
This is pretty good. Only one thing. You forgot the...
Round and round we go!
Cerebella's main task is to bypass as much as possible any defense set by the opponent, or to work as a hard-to-approach wall against the player. Her main defining trait is her low combo count attacks and the abundance of grabs. Her special moves are what let her go through several defenders with relative ease, coupled with her hard-hitting blockbusters. The Marquee focuses on benefiting all of her grabs with either meter drain with upper hand, or disabling specials and tag-ins with ringleader. Generally, upper hand is the preferred one to delay as much as possible the opponent's tier 3 blockbuster, but after the AI buff, ringleader is also a competent choice. Understudy is one of the first 3 variants you're given when starting off, along with rerun and baseline. Her signature ability is Under 1, with very little utility aside from extra defense. Convenient for early players, as they can take more hits that way, but outside of that there's not a whole lot she can offer.
No.
Headstrong is also an average variant. Grabs can inflict cripple and armor break, leading into decent opponent control, but 2 downsides spawn from this. Cripple is a nearly useless debuff, and BattleBot can do the same, if not a better job, at armor breaking. So while she's also a decent beginner's choice, she falls off of relevancy pretty quickly.
No.
Big Top is essentially a wall, waiting for death to revive with 50% health and a brief unflinching and invincibility to make a good comeback. This makes her only role as a stall machine, and she's pretty weak for it sadly. While she has decent health, it's just not enough for her to last long enough to make a good stall. Worse, she lacks any efficient method of regeneration, therefore I can classify her as a good defender.
No.
Grey Matter is an interesting support. She and her teammates start off the match with 25% blockbuster meter and gain 50% if they fall below 25%. She has the utility of an early advantage, getting ahead of the opponent and securing a blockbuster 3 early. She's decent enough, but usually investing in meter gain is the better choice, but it's still a decent beginner support.
Ass.
Toad Warrior is a good candidate for the best silver variant in the game. While near an enemy, all blockbusters will gain 3% meter per second, and she gains 50% bonus damage with at least 1 blockbuster charge, which ends up becoming the selling point of Toad. You'll easily dispose of most opponents as long as you have a blockbuster charge. Since she's a silver, she'll be slightly more frail compared to gold tier units, but it's worth it nonetheless. Great strength at economic prices. Armed Forces is a decent defender, as her high health lets her take a lot of hits, but she has suffered a fair amount of nerfs. Her armor and unflinching used to last about 15 seconds, but were reduced to 10. And with the introduction of Marquees, Curse, and Precision, she has fallen a bit behind in terms of being an effective defense unit. Still though, she can put up a good fight, but with the counters being more abundant, she'll have it a bit more difficult.
My Starbucks coffee was too hot.
Brain Freeze punishes the use of high number combos by reducing gradually the damage taken. This often forces the player to go for a low combo strategy or cheese it with bleeds instead. It's thanks to this that you'll often see her in Rift battles, particularly paired with Frost armor. Granted, Toad Warrior for example could counter her with little trouble, but she'd at least be able to take several hits before going down. Harlequin is hands down one of the best variants in the game thanks to her great attack stats and support potential in special moves. Not only does she reduce the cooldown considerably, but she adds an additional 20% power to it. With the reduced cooldown, you'll often gain the upper hand against the opponent, as depending on who you play as, you'll do a lot more of its thing, Squiggly inflicting more curses with Dragon Punch, and Annie dealing more critical boosted Destruction Pillars, to name a few. But this helps the most none other than Harlequin herself, as she can take care of enemies with ease and hit them with little struggle with the Merry Gorilla BattleBot cycle. Without a doubt, a must-have variant that will always remain relevant in the meta. Criminal Mind is a fairly interesting variant, as she's the only Cerebella to use crit. If anyone lands a hit that deals above 10% on anyone's health bar, she'll gain Thorns and the opponent will suffer death mark. She's the inverse of Brain Freeze, where a multi-hit approach is better than a low combo. Of course, that is defensively speaking, as Criminal also has excellent attack potential. Deathmark boosted attacks with Cerebella's single hit based attacks lead to truly devastating hits. It does discourage grabs a bit since they don't crit, but save for maybe Mary Gorilla, it's not a big loss.
Ay, caray.
Despite her huge base health and compatibility with Water Catalyst, Star Spangled unfortunately doesn't make for a very good defender. Her signature ability is simply not well fit for such a role, thus I consider she fares best for attack. Much like Bad Miss Frosty, she works as a Frost Armor count, as she can armor break on Throw Break, one of the few gimmicks that remain unexplored in Cerebella. Combined with her character ability Stagger, it's basically an easy safe hit, and her high health can be put to good use to take a fair chunk of potential recoil.
La cámara de muerte de 200 segundos!
Heavy-handed feels like the inverse of Star Spangled. Offensively, you'll get at most a lesser Harlequin. Repeatedly having to charge attacks can be bothersome, and often lead to the AI counter-attack. It's on defense where she can be much more oppressive. She has the high health to sustain that role, and camping around with 5 enrages and unflinching makes for a noticeable threat. Much like any defender based around buffs, curse and buff removal is her natural weakness, which does detract a few points in her defense resume, but if she's able to gain the enrages and land a hit, it will hurt big time.
Блять, сука. If you don't like cockroaches, go feed them to a fucking animal that eats cockroaches. Like your mother.